Everyone knows Kimi Antonelli is talented. Mercedes certainly think so. After all, they didn't just promote him to Formula One, they handed him one of the biggest seats in motorsport history, the very seat Lewis Hamilton made famous. But that's not the scary part. The scary part is what Kimi is already doing. Because while everyone is focused on his age, they're ignoring something much bigger. He's quietly following a path that looks eerily similar to Lewis Hamilton's. Both arrived at Mercedes carrying enormous expectations. Both were thrown into the deep end against experienced teammates, and both started proving people wrong much sooner than anyone expected. So the question is, could Mercedes have accidentally found another Lewis Hamilton? To answer that, we need to go right back to the beginning. Unlike many Formula One drivers, Kimi Antonelli wasn't gradually introduced to the spotlight. He was born into it. His father, Marco Antonelli, owned a successful karting team, meaning motorsport surrounded Kimi from almost the moment he could walk. By the time he climbed into a kart, it became obvious he wasn't just another talented youngster. He was exceptional. Championship after championship followed. Whether it was in Italy or across Europe, Antonelli developed a reputation for doing one thing incredibly well: winning. And he wasn't simply beating average competition. Many of the drivers he defeated are now climbing towards Formula One themselves. Mercedes noticed. Very quickly. They signed him to their junior program while he was still incredibly young, believing he could become the future face of the team. That is a level of faith manufacturers rarely place in someone so early. And over the next few years, Kimi rewarded every bit of it. His jump into single-seaters was nothing short of ridiculous. Instead of spending years slowly progressing through the ladder, Antonelli seemed to skip entire stages. He won the Italian Formula 4 Championship. He won the ADAC Formula 4 Championship. He dominated the Formula Regional European Championship. Then he did something that shocked almost everyone. Mercedes skipped Formula 3 altogether. Instead, they promoted him straight into Formula 2. A move many people thought was too much, too soon. The competition would be stronger, the cars faster, the pressure immense. People questioned whether Mercedes were rushing their biggest prospect. But Mercedes clearly saw something everyone else didn't. And looking back, maybe they were right all along. If you're enjoying this video, make sure to subscribe to Pitwall Stories. We dive into the biggest stories in Formula One, uncover hidden details most fans miss, and explore the moments that shape the sport. If that's your kind of content, you'll definitely want to stick around. Now let's get back to the video. By the time Mercedes needed to replace Lewis Hamilton, the obvious answer wasn't obvious at all. Carlos Sainz was available. Several experienced Formula One drivers were available. Most teams would have played it safe. Mercedes did the exact opposite. They put their faith in an 18-year-old rookie. That decision reminded many people of another gamble. Back in 2007, McLaren promoted a young Lewis Hamilton alongside Fernando Alonso. At the time, Alonso wasn't just experienced. He was a two-time world champion. Many expected Hamilton to spend the season learning. Instead, he immediately matched Alonso. He outqualified him multiple times. He beat him in races. By the end of the season, the rookie had finished level on points with one of the greatest drivers Formula One had ever seen. Nobody expected that. Sound familiar? Because Kimi Antonelli is beginning to produce the same feeling. George Russell has become one of Formula One's most respected drivers. He's fast, consistent, excellent over one lap. And don't forget, Russell spent 3 seasons alongside Lewis Hamilton himself. He knows exactly what elite pace looks like. Yet despite all that experience, Antonelli hasn't looked intimidated. Quite the opposite. There have already been weekends where he's matched Russell's pace, others where he's beaten him outright. For a rookie. That's extraordinary. Most first-year drivers lose heavily to experienced teammates. Antonelli is proving he belongs almost immediately. And that's exactly what Hamilton did nearly 20 years ago. But the similarities don't stop there. Lewis Hamilton's greatest strength wasn't raw speed. Lots of drivers are fast. Hamilton's real gift was how quickly he learned. Every race weekend, he improved. Every mistake became a lesson. Within months, he looked like he'd been racing in Formula One for years. Antonelli seems to possess that exact same quality. Every race weekend, he looks calmer. His tyre management improves, his racecraft develops, his confidence grows. the mistakes become fewer. That learning curve is frightening because rookies aren't supposed to improve this quickly. There's something else people aren't talking about either. Mercedes know exactly what greatness looks like. This is the team that built 7 championship-winning cars with Lewis Hamilton. The engineers who worked with Hamilton are still there. The leadership structure remains largely intact. The standards haven't changed. If Mercedes truly believe Antonelli can become their future, that should tell us something. This isn't a team known for making emotional decisions. Everything is based on data. Everything is analyzed. If they're willing to hand him the responsibility of replacing arguably the greatest driver in Formula One history, it's because they genuinely believe he can handle it. Of course, becoming the next Lewis Hamilton isn't easy. Hamilton won his very first Grand Prix in only his 6th Formula One race. He nearly became world champion as a rookie. He went on to rewrite almost every record in the sport. Those are impossible standards. Antonelli doesn't need to become another Lewis Hamilton. He needs to become the first Kimi Antonelli. But that's where things become interesting, because if Mercedes can give him a championship-contending car, which they seem to have for this season, everything changes. History shows us that truly elite drivers don't need years to adapt. Hamilton proved it. And Max Verstappen proved it. Charles Leclerc proved it. And Kimi is currently proving it by leading the championship over George Russell. When future champions arrive, you know about it. And Antonelli is starting to give people that exact feeling. Which brings us back to the original question. Is Kimi Antonelli becoming the next Lewis Hamilton? It's still far too early to say. Hamilton's career is one of the greatest Formula One has ever seen. Matching that legacy may never happen. But the similarities are becoming harder to ignore. A teenage prodigy, backed by Mercedes from an incredibly young age, thrown into one of the biggest seats in Formula One, facing an experienced teammate, and instead of simply surviving, he's already showing he can compete. Maybe that's why Mercedes were willing to let Lewis Hamilton leave. Maybe they already believed they had the future waiting in the wings. And if Antonelli continues developing at this pace, the rest of Formula One should be very worried. Because the scary truth about Kimi Antonelli is that Mercedes may have found the next driver capable of dominating the sport. If they have, we could be witnessing the beginning of Formula One's next great era. And if you enjoyed this video, you'll love this next one where we uncover another Formula One story hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.